Good morning, Bishop. How are you, sir?
Oh, super, super.
I want to apologize. The last caller ran a little bit over, and I didn't want to hold you on the line because I know you're probably busy this morning. But God bless, and tell me what's going on.
Well, sounds like a song to me.
Sounds like
What's
what?
going on?
What's that?
A song.
Oh, what's going on? Yeah, I
Sounds like
remember that. That was a major song back in the 70s. Remember that?
Yeah, Marvin Gaye.
Yeah. I just heard that.
Yeah,
I heard that yesterday. Somebody played it yesterday.
Well, there's a lot going on. The track, the track of the church and the track of the state seem to be going in the same direction.
Tell me.
And that's downhill.
Oh, tell me what's happening.
Well, the general leadership of church have abdicated their responsibility in leading the flock, feeding and leading. And so you smite the shepherd and the sheep scatter. So, and you have people that are in political delegated authority have been bitten by the bug of despotism, and they feel like they're in a socialist dictatorship, and now talking as if they're some type of North Korean dictator or something. You know, it's just really crazy. And so I'm appealing to spiritual leadership to get back in place, and it's not at home or in a distancing facility of mask-wearing congregants.
Mm-hmm.
It's on the knees in prayer with the saints and in the Word, discovering the unsearchable riches of Christ, and then calling the hands of the politicians to get off the horse that shouldn't even be in the stable and become sober and realize that you don't tell people what they can and cannot do. So that's where we are. People can say you need to wear a mask. I say you need to get a job. So it's that's where we are.
But, you know, all of these leaders, the country, the elected leaders in the country, right? They're at home collected checks. Their staff are full-time, being paid full-time.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah,
So,
and that makes it more difficult to bring sobriety to bear. Because, my goodness, you're working in your PJs.
mm-hmm.
I mean, and you didn't even brush your teeth, and the income is steady coming. So, no, it's going to be difficult, and it's going to require a revelation superimposed upon spiritual leadership to call the collected body back to where Christ himself meets us. He says where we are gathered together, he'll be in the midst. But where we're scattered, he's not there.
So, Bishop, basically by all of this stuff going on with COVID and all of this streaming of the services from all the denominations and non-denominations, what does it prove? It proves we don't need all these buildings, right?
That's one thing. It proves that the church was caught with the diaper down and milk on the mustache. It proves the immaturity of the church and the vulnerability of people in general, and giving excitement to the spirit of Antichrist. He says it's going to be an easy task bringing everybody into compliance. And I say, well, no, not here, not now.
I've noticed, though, it's not just the freedom of religion, but the freedom of speech that's really been tampered as well. There's certain speech you could speak.
Remember,
yeah, it's just, It's
Remember,
part of, what's
Satan
that?
is the. Mhm.
Go ahead, sir.
Go ahead.
No. It's part of the Constitution, but it's not part of the Constitution anymore.
Right. Well, in my neighborhood, 99.9% of everyone that lives in the community that I live in don't have a clue concerning the Constitution, not to mention amendments. No, they don't even have a clue.
Well, I don't think just your neighborhood. I think in general, just in the last, say 20 years? Would you say 20 years?
Yeah, easily.
Throughout the country?
Well, easily.
Mm-hmm.
And you can graduate with a PhD degree and still be ignorant of the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, the Articles, the amendments, and how to properly apply. And remember that Satan is the prince of the power of the air,
right?
Which means he has influence over media. And when people listen to the news, whether it's major networks of cable or even social media, the enemy is the prince of the power of the air, and he is manipulating Facebook, Twitter, CNN, Fox. He is the master of communications when it comes to the ether waves, whether it's 5G or whatever it's going to. He has been given the right to operate, and he knows the rules of engagement. And the only ones that can stop him would be the operating church within the mindset of the kingdom. And that's not happening at the moment.
Well, that's why I said when you talk about the First Amendment, if you deal in social media, and that's why I'm not on social media, if you deal like with Facebook, which many people deal with, and they deal with Twitter, whatever's out there, you're being censored. So there's no freedom of speech. Mm-hmm. You understand? Mm-hmm. So if you're being censored, what's the purpose of being on it? So you can get thrown off?
Well, I've gone from 8,000 hits when I first got on Facebook down to a few hundred.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes you get up to 1,000.
Oh, yeah. And it happens on YouTube also. I mean, you can look at some things on YouTube. They should be, 10,000 views or 5,000 views. You'll see 65. They just click with the numbers. So nothing's real in the world of, social media, what they call social media, which is basically how people communicate. Remember the cell phone was to call people, right, Bishop? And then it became a text operation. And most younger generation, they don't even call anybody anymore, just text you, right? And now the text and the phone is not even material. It's all about Twitter or Facebook or whatever else is out there, TikTok and round the clock or whatever, But, it's just so time consuming between looking at emails, between looking at some news, between speaking on a phone or talking on a text. I mean, it's really time consuming to keep up with all this stuff. How do you do anything else? Unless you're in media, it's just too much time consuming.
Well, I am calling the church back not to business as usual, but to the needs. The KNEES.
Right.
And if the saints are not praying, the saints are just as vulnerable as anybody in the world. When in reality, people are quoting Psalm 91. And I'm telling people, let Psalm 91 alone because you don't believe it. So stop saying it. Psalm 91, we do it a disservice. You say you mean to tell me you're in the secret place? You're under the shadow of the Almighty? You mean to tell me he's your refuge, your fortress? He delivered you from the snare, the bird?
No, the $1,200 check did.
Oh, my goodness.
I've never seen so many empty big screen TV boxes that I've seen in the last 2 months in my neighborhood. Everybody's got the big screen box outside, the garbage pail. The 1200 went right to the TV.
Wow.
Yeah. You know,
Wow.
you get the, it was the top of the line. I think it's called OLED, Samsung OLED. Top of the line. Last Christmas was like $21.99. Now they're running in the big box stores, $6.99, $7.99. So when the checks came, everybody went out and said, I need an OLED. You know, they just got the other one the year before, right? You remember when you had a TV till it died, Bishop? Remember when you had a TV till it died? Remember when you had a TV, you had to go put the tubes, you used to put the tubes at the drugstore, the appliance store, and make sure the tube was still working? Yeah, but now if you got a 1-year-old TV, that's old. You got a one-year-old laptop, it's old. So, you know, as soon as the $1,200 come, everybody ran out and got their new TV or, you know, laptop or computer, you know, or telephone, too, for that matter. Really, a phone.
I told people,
phone's $800 today, brand new phone. You know.
Yeah, because they're going to be tracking your every move.
And you could bet
what your move should be.
You could bet that they're going to have, what do they call those, contact tracers? There's going to be an app on your phone, and they're going to contact trace you, and they're going to check your temperature by phone or whatever. Stick your finger on the screen, or, you know, make sure you don't have the COVID. They didn't do it for the flu, and they didn't do it for pneumonia, and they didn't do it for anything else. They don't do it for allergies, but they're going to do it for COVID, because somebody's going to have to come up with this vaccine that'll twist your DNA, and that's what it's all about. They're going to take a vaccine, put it in you, and it's going to change the DNA. They're going to manipulate the DNA. So why would somebody want to manipulate? Who would want to manipulate? Just a question, Bishop. Who would want to manipulate your DNA? If God gave you your DNA, who would want to manipulate your DNA?
Satan.
Oh, that's a quick answer. I think you won the prize.
Satan.
You won the prize. We got 2 or 3 minutes. We're coming down 2 or 3 minutes before the half. I'm sorry that you got on late, Bishop, but I'll be happy to have you on again soon on the podcast. Thank you for calling in. And it's a holiday weekend, as you know. Just a couple of words real quick before we get off. What do we got to do? Is the president going to win? What do we have to do?
Well, it's going to be who's in the White House, but who's in the big house.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to apply. And I'm telling folks, look, if you're a believer, you have a new DNA. Mm-hmm. And we got to make application to the new DNA. Through the exceeding great and precious promises that God has given us, and so that we're not dependent upon the arm of the flesh. So I'm telling people, get back to the knees, get back into the Word, get back in place, and a lot of this stuff will subside if the church get back in place.
Now, on Facebook, you're still doing the morning prayer, right? Word of prayer in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
And you're also running with the Awakening, correct? You have the Facebook with Awakening?
Now, we're doing Facebook Morning Manna, and we're doing special programs that's going to Facebook and going to YouTube.
Uh-huh.
So we're in our studios plus our auditorium.
Give us the website so we can just find everything.
Boy, I'm really...
Your tech guy's not next to you, I know.
Go to the Bishop's page, Bishop Robert E. Smith Sr.
Okay.
Go to that page, and that'll take you everywhere else.
Because I know you got a tech guy that's usually right next to you to help you out on that stuff, right?
Yeah.